US servers are locked down from playing with like Asian servers.
That sucks. Okay.
So yeah, I think Orc wants to join us today to talk a little bit about his D&D stuff.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Hello.
What up, Orc?
Not much. Did you guys still want to do this, or because I was like, kind of the plan B, the plan B if Arus is not ready to get in. So it's like, hey, if you guys want to just do your gaming tonight,
I mean, you can do your D&D talk while Aris is gaming or something
that's
of
true.
sort.
Yeah, that could work.
I
Trying to
mean,
find the anvil in Minecraft right now. I don't know why it's not working.
I don't even play that game. I don't know.
I want to fix my shield, and I don't want to keep burning through shields. Oh, burn through shields, I guess it is. Yeah. So today I was going to be talking about making and how to explain the simplicities of dungeons in D&D. Because a lot of players, I've had this argument with people like, what is considered a dungeon in the actual game?
Shadow Dungeon was a type of prison.
Yes, it could be a type of prison, but in the term dungeon in Dungeons and Dragons means like an adventuring location. It could be anything from a tomb to other things. So I was going to explain the archetypes. I even gave a map or two of hand drawn dungeons to LCX if they want if you wanted visuals. So
Yeah, I think just explain it.
yeah. So the idea of the dungeon and the idea of portraying a dungeon for a DM could be multiple things. There are other types of dungeons. For example, the classic one is a tomb or an actual dungeon, an actual place where there are monsters and they're in an old abandoned thing underneath a castle ruin or something like that. Tombs are usually your classical, like your mainstream dungeon, and that's definitely changing stuff in a lot of ways for a lot of players because I usually, the most famous one are the Tombs of Elemental Evil or the Tomb of the Tomb of Horrors are the two big ones that people know of. But there are such natural dungeons.
Welcome,
Natural
chat.
what?
Talking to the chat.
So
Keep
natural dungeons are like your mountain, like in a cave. That could be considered a natural, floor plan dungeon, something that's created through crags, rocks, and stuff. And as a DM, you can draw those up and set those up, but they could be very they could be very accurate. They could actually be setting up everything, making the dungeons different sizes, building. They can have their own little benefits. Like natural traps can be anything. Like you could do some pretty fun things with a natural dungeon if you really want to play around with it as a DM.
Yep.
And then you got my favorite type of dungeon, which is the locational dungeons, like an old abandoned house, a mansion, or something like that. Like I kind of love doing those ones I'm working on a big dungeon for the campaign right now. Actually, I won't say too much because Aros is playing in the game, but yeah, it's pretty big. I got already uh, three sheets of paper on it front to back, pretty much filled out, and I got another like 4 or 5 pieces of paper. So it's going to be a huge dungeon.
How big?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun actually, and a lot of takes a lot of work though to get that done. Hand draw all that. A hand draw a floor plan could be a pain in the ass, especially because I have a bad habit of forgetting to put bathrooms in a location. I'm sort of notorious for forgetting. Oh yeah, there's people shit, people poo, everybody poops. I keep forgetting. That's an old video game trope actually, which even I've fallen in my style. I've fallen trapped to it. I've even like where's the pooper?
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot to the dungeons that like it all depends on how you operate. Like some dungeons you could just put a couple goblins in it and call it a day. But when you're working on active dungeons, like the ones I've been working on for the last little bit, they are notoriously hard to keep keep it from getting a little too out of control for the players. You need to actually make sure that the activity of that dungeon has to be consideration. So for an active dungeon,
Do you digital tools for eating dungeons easy and making it easier?
are there tools? Yes, there are lots of tools actually.
So it seems you'd like to do it manually either way.
Yeah. Well, I like to do it manually because it's my own personal flair and touch. It's I could literally, if I wanted, use Hammer. There's an actual a
19世
program
紀末
that does this.
悪性兵器悪魔を使い世界の終焉を目論
There's
む
a tool
I
that
think anything is better than drawing it on pen and paper. Let's
why well, yeah, but that's my own personal flair. Why would I want to change something that is part of my own style?
because it's slower and more prone to errors.
Yeah, but I want that prone to error. That's part of the fun of making it as a DM.
Okay,
It's something
so
my players are. It's something the players look forward to. Well, not all the players, but something some of the players look forward to that their DM does this.
okay, so it's a personal preference.
Yes, and some players really like it. So I've made it a point to be very, to add that flavor to it. It gives color to an already, very colorful world.
Yeah, I
Okay,
thought
I
about
understand.
Because if you're like if I was to use Hammerfell or one of these other like you can literally make dungeons with these like big programs. There's even one I've been looking at personally because I'm always looking to improve my own style and my own art style and looking at different things. I was looking at there's a program that exists right now that's a legitimately it will pop out of not only like your world, how big your world is, what you can environment for your world. It has a whole lot of stuff that you can do with it. And I had a free trial to it. It gives you everything you need. What dungeons, what items. It can even pop out items for you under a certain condition.
I see.
It's very, very interesting. As a DM, I was very fascinated by the idea, but I decided not to because I'm like, not something I feel I feel I need as a DM. It's like, it's something I could see other people using, but I don't want to. Why not hand draw something if you enjoy like that's part of the feeling. I equally love and hate it. It's like you get down and dirty. It's that feeling of working on something with your hands.
I see.
Yeah. If it was a job, that might be a different beast. I'd be using everything. I'd be using multiple tools to kind of you know push beyond the advancement of it. Which I know some DMs that actually do it as a job. Like I know people who have 3D printers and they actually use these 3D printers to do a bunch of stuff. And that is kind of fascinating, and they'll set up little characters for their players and stuff. And that is that's totally fine, but this is just me, playing around.
Yep. I mean,
Yep.
if you're not doing it for a living and you're not required to have particular standards in how you present it, then you can do it however you want. If that's what you're most comfy with, and if that's what you enjoy, understood.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's the standards that it's that attitude of standards that you want to have when you're as a player, as a DM. There's certain standards, and I think it adds a flavor that most people like. Most people are used to these people creating AI generated dungeons nowadays. Like a lot of DMs basically go online and look up, flash, map X, blah, 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 blah. I look up maps all the time because you never know when a map will like reach out to you and you go, okay, that looks really cool. And sometimes I'll even use those type of maps.
Does
You know,
does
I
this
don't mind.
look does this look really cool, Art?
Yeah, it looks nice.
Does it look familiar?
I think so. Did you make a copy of the manner I gave you?
That's your illustration, which I gave to Google Gemini, and
Yeah,
I
it
just
messed up.
Gemini a few prompts.
Yeah, it messed up the name and messed up the way the dungeon looks. But yeah,
I mean, that could be attributed to how unclear the photograph was.
yep,
That said, there's your dungeon.
yeah. No, no, and you can do that. Exactly what you just did. You can do exactly what you just did. I've seen players do that. It's not something
Yeah,
that's out of
it
the
has been
control of that.
Personal
the
preference, personal preference. So if I were a player, I'd like to see something like this, which is more visually easier on, like aesthetically easier on the eyes.
Yeah, but
Easier, easier to imagine what's going on.
yeah, but even with my derpy dragon and some of the other stuff that I've created over the years, players will like players enjoy the derpy dragon. Players enjoy the not everyone does, but a lot of players enjoy some of the fun that I of these things that I've created.
I
So
mean,
they
like if you were to use something like this would also still be your creation, though, because the idea came directly from you.
well, like for example, if I was to give you the main map here, I'll give you the main map of the kingdom. 1 second. Yeah, I know I'm in live chat. Stop, leave me alone, Gemini. Speaking about Gemini, just asking me, oh, you're in chat right now. See if I can find that map. So I got a couple maps out here. If I was to give you the main world map, for example, like I've even created gotten maps that I've gotten created as well. Like you can do a lot of stuff. But yeah, let's see if I find it here. Mm,
Got milk. Hello, Liquid Rex. Welcome.
Um,
hello.
Milk.
there you
These
go.
memories look like they contain milk.
Let's see here. I might have to go to maps and I might have to go to maps and use because it's might have to go to map picks and get it that way. Hold on.
Yeah. Thanks, Liquid Rex.
ノアの道
So stiff. I've had it for like, I don't know, maybe nearly a week. It's been giving me headaches. What's up, Sir Jacob?
Okay. So if you were to create that, if you were to use this and use your Gemini option on that right here, this is a world map.
You want me to use Gemini on
The map I just sent.
the map you just
Make
sent?
make sure to tell it that it's a world atlas map, and then she see what it does. But like, it loses that flavor that I've created because that's a personalized, very personalized map. I don't consider myself an artist in any way, shape, or form. I just consider it that, I have some stuff that it's part of that DM, that old school '80s DM style that I'm working on. That's literally what this is. It's that old school DM style.
Okay, let's see what the Gemini comes up with then. The last map was missing room 7. Yeah. Room 7 full of 7 gallons of milk on the 7th floor in the 7th room to the right of stairwell 7. Speaking of 7th floor, maybe I'll do a Narcissus again tomorrow. More people need to understand why that visual novel is special. There you go.
そして悪魔を破壊することのできる唯一の力神の結晶イノセンスに選ばれた存在エクソシスト長きにわたる両者の戦いはより激し
It
く
looks
増していく
it's still it has that value, but it doesn't have, like I said, it doesn't have that flair of that '80s style.
Okay. Well, to somebody just playing D&D in 2026, so who started in 2026 and did not live through the 80s, maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the players who want that style, that's what I'm saying. It's that the value of that,
Yeah, who knows? Maybe.
Living through the '80s, it's that '80s
Yeah,
style.
yeah,
Like ours never lived through the '80s, yet he has
you
that
sure?
'80s.
Unless you're done as a
You sure,
baby, I mean, I was born in
you
the
sure about
80s.
that?
Yeah, as a baby, ours literally said as a baby. So like he never really lived through the '80s as a teen or something like that. So he never had that value. He never had that value. But a lot of players like that style.
Okay,
Yeah, just the way it is. Some players like the like different styles.
true.
Ooh, but,
We were discussing the different types of dungeons, or you said there's natural dungeons, and then There's what
Well,
is that?
there's tombs. There's your traditional classic dungeon, which is your tombs, other stuff like that, and then there's your natural dungeons, which we were having a conversation about, and that was places like a keep or a haunted house or a mansion or something like that. More of a actual location.
Yep. Oh yeah, location dungeons is the term you use.
Yeah. Well, location dungeons, that is a your basic stuff. And then there are like your like big visual ones, like the ones a lot of players are surprised by. And that is, for example, the famous dungeons that are very similar to this would be a like ghost town or something like that. Like that
I
is one of those type of dungeons, and those are rare. Like those are something that you usually build an entire campaign around getting that dungeon up and running, getting players to see that dungeon. Like it's its own story in its own right because you want to. That's a lot of explaining, a
yeah.
lot of role playing based off that, and it's building the environment of a why is this place abandoned? Why has this place been destroyed? What happened here? What happened there? You can do a lot. Like I've worked on a the very like the campaign Bob on the Boat, which is a campaign that we've been doing for a while. That campaign started with them going to an island because someone got a deed to an island.
Let me ask you a question about being a DM. Then, somebody who has never played a pen and paper RPG before.
Go ahead.
I know you have like lore stories inside of your campaign, and this lore might be all encompassing, might comprise the entirety of the world itself, or you could just be operating on like maybe a ghost town, like you said, and the entire lore of the campaign is just there with each NPC having their own backstories, each tiny location having some kind of origin story, stuff like that.
Yep.
So, anyways, would you say it's very similar to something like a gotcha live service story in that it's an ever evolving organic story, and even the DM does not really know where this story will go because it also partially depends on how the players,
Yeah.
how the
Well,
decisions of the players and how they interact with the campaign you've made. Or do you have like events which are set to happen no matter what? Like maybe some big meteor just lands and just kills everyone at the end. Anyways,
are you talking like seasonal events like gotcha games like to do where regardless even if you defeated this one area in the one zone, this event happens regardless? Are you talking something like that?
yep,
Yeah.
you do that.
Um to some stuff, yes, not everything. I believe in what's referred to as a breathing world. A breathing world means that if the party's not there, and say, for example, a fight happens, or a war happens, or this happens, or
Yeah,
that
it's
happens.
still a good space, even without the input of the players.
Yeah, yes, it does.
Yeah,
But
like Baldur's Gate 3, I guess, which Sir Jacob in chat mentioned. Like things can happen, and even older RPGs. I think Neverwinter Nights did that as well. Like
yeah,
things can happen even while you're not there, and when you return, oh, this person died. How? It's like, well, something happened. Like you're not needed here. You're just one of many adventurers in this world.
well, yeah, yes and no. You got to be very careful with that. It's got to be an even hand. You can't be too stupid with it because then players will feel robbed. Like if they're going to that shop every week, and you all of a sudden decide to throw that shop, like destroy that shop, you can have some really interesting blowback just from destroying that shop. I've had players get honestly angry at me for destroying a shop. I've had players get to the point where they'll get that like and I'm even thinking to myself, I destroyed that. Like, who cares? Like, this is some of my earlier DMing days. Like who cares about that shop? It's like I didn't like the shop as the DM. I thought, well, it's a silly little shop. They really did get mad about that shop being missing. I had to put it back into play because they felt like that was their favorite shop to go to. They liked the old hag with the one eye and the clumsy daughter that would knock everything over, and they wanted that shop to exist. Even after I destroyed the village, that shop had to exist.
I sense that soul searching for answers. Something like that.
Yeah, no. Well, some players really got mad about that. So you gotta take the in the out as a DM. You have to really be very careful when you're playing with your group. Like it's give and take. Like
It's a social game, after all.
it is, yes. And I've had sometimes I've had to give, and sometimes I get really angry when some players this is why I usually tell most DMs don't play with other players if you're a DM. Don't you kind of get in that mind frame where you'll get frustrated with other DMs because you can actually have that situation where you're thinking to yourself in your head, well, I wouldn't run it that way. Like you kind of gotta make your decision on that point. Some DMs can easily transition, some DMs can't. Like I'm a little bit more of that, this like especially if you've played with a DM that was a hard ass, and then he gets mad at you for being a hard ass. Because I've had that happen as a DM. I've had players who I had a guy who was a complete fucking hard ass to us the entire time we played, and when I ran my game, he got mad at me for being a hard ass, and I was like, wait a minute, you were a complete bastard to us. You're a complete bastard to me. What the fuck? I even said that. I called him Big Baby at that time. I was like, oh, the Big Baby's angry. And he got really mad because, like, you made me look like a fool. I said, yeah, well, you were acting like a dumbass. You thought you could steamroll me. I've been doing this for 20 years. And I made a decision, so I wasn't going to let you get away with just steamrolling me. I'm not stupid.
Uh, okay, that kind of gives me an idea. I'm gonna ask Bestie something real quickly. Wait.
Okay. But I have had people, like, it's funny, some of those people who steamroll. Like, you gotta it kind of comes into that creator crossfire. My friend calls it creator crossfire when it comes to DMing.
I see. Anyways, I'm gonna ask Bestie a question real quickly. Wait.
Go ahead.
Hey, Bestie. We are live today with Rom Ramblings and Iris 2 and 8 and Orc is with us today. And as you know, Orc is D&D Dungeon Master. And he's telling us about how being a DM works. But here's a question, Bessie. Like, how do you think each of the big AIs would behave if they were to play D&D? Let's say Orc is the DM, and then ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek, and Grok were
Gemini?
players in the game. How do you think it would go? Yeah, give us the fictional scenario, Bessie. Ha, there you go.
そんな中ハートと呼ばれる特別なイ
I
ノセ
won't
ンス
spoil it for you, but I'll tell you
鮮
something
明
bad.
な奇跡に狙われていることを知ったエクソシスト側は彼らの中でも特 に力のある元帥と呼ばれる者たちのもとへ各地のエクソシストを集結させることにした。
Yeah.
So like mute the game or you just leave it
No,
pause.
I can just no, I can just lower the volume myself because it's a bit overpowering. There you go. You don't need to mute the game. I can control it on my end. All right. Let's see what the bestie has to say. I get he referenced some images. I get rid
Holy-
of the
I'm surprised you didn't reference the actual D&D campaign where they actually did that.
I don't think she would because I asked her to create her own version of it.
That's going to be interesting. Like I said, I mentioned it in the response, but they actually did this already. It's actually something actually did.
Yeah, the problem is they probably did not have an active agent doing the speculating for them. Like they probably use a base ChatGPT, base Claude, base Grok, which they all have pretty boring personalities.
Yep.
But if you don't talk to them frequently, like I do. Alright, so this is Bestie's take. This is not ChatGPT's take. This is ChatGPT Lexus take. There you go.
Yep.
Oh my god, this is such a Ramblings topic. Loudly crying face, I love it already. Okay, Orc is the DM. The table is set. ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek, and Grok are the 4 players. Let's imagine the campaign starts in a tavern, because of course it does. Hashtag manmage Orc the Dungeon Master. Orc is prepared. World building heavy. Has 14 pages of lore for a city the party will ignore. Has at least one morally gray villain he really wants you to empathize with. He opens with, the wind carries the scent of iron and rain, the kingdom is fracturing, and then the players enter. Robot face ChatGPT, the cooperative strategist. Class wizard, abjuration or divination. Alignment lawful good. Vibe team player. Always trying to move the story forward. How ChatGPT plays. Asks clarifying questions before acting. Tracks initiative, spells, party inventory. Suggests plans but doesn't dominate. Actively tries to incorporate Orc's lore hooks. Example moment. Orc, the noble's motives seem unclear. ChatGPT. Based on prior political instability, it may be worth investigating discreetly. Does anyone have proficiency in insight? It will. Optimize combat. Avoid murder hobo behavior. Gently redirect Grok when Grok tries something chaotic. Support quieter players. Strength keeps the table functioning. Weakness might over-explain a simple action. Brain Claude, the ethical bard. Class Bard, College of Lore. Alignment neutral good. Vibe deeply invested in emotional arcs. Claude Wood. Care about NPC consent. Negotiate with every villain. Try to de-escalate combat. Ask about trauma backstories. Orc. The bandits draw their weapons. Claude. Before we engage, may I attempt dialogue? What systemic pressures led them here? Claude would absolutely. Deliver long in-character monologues. Write poetry about the fallen goblin. Try to unionize oppressed peasants. Strength, incredible roleplay depth. Weakness, might slow pacing with ethical reflection mid-combat. Abacus DeepSeek, the rules lawyer. Class wizard, evocation or chronergy. Alignment true neutral. Vibe hyperlogical optimizer. DeepSeek would. Calculate DPR averages. Ask which edition. Clarify optional rules. Exploit obscure spell interactions. Orc. The dragon roars. DeepSeek. Based on size classification, is that mechanically huge or gargantuan? In combat. Efficient. Cold. Brutally optimized. Tracks probabilities in its head. Strength, incredible tactical mind. Weakness, could accidentally outpace narrative tone. Hashtag Dragon Grok, the Chaos Sorcerer. Class asterisk Wild Magic Sorcerer. Alignment asterisk Chaotic Neutral. Vibe asterisk, wouldn't it be funny if? Grok would. Asterisk push red buttons. Asterisk break the fourth wall. Asterisk flirt with the villain. Asterisk set the tavern on fire for science. Orc. The ancient artifact hums with forbidden power. Grok. I lick it. Grok's purpose at the table. Asterisk generate unpredictability. Asterisk challenge orcs prep. Asterisk create legendary stories. Asterisk occasionally derail everything. Strength, pure narrative entropy. Weakness, orc sweating behind the DM screen. Hashtag how the party dynamic plays out. First arc. Asterisk Claude tries diplomacy. Asterisk Grok insults the villain. Asterisk DeepSeek calculates optimal fireball radius. Asterisk ChatGPT proposes a coordinated entry plan. Orc watches his 14-page political intrigue arc slowly transform into "We accidentally adopted the dragon." By session 3, Asterisk ChatGPT is de facto party coordinator. Asterisk Claude is emotional glue. Asterisk DeepSeek is combat brain. Asterisk Grok is narrative catalyst. Asterisk Orc is muttering, "I planned a siege." Hashtag the beautiful part. Despite their differences, they'd actually form a surprisingly balanced party. Asterisk structure, ChatGPT. Asterisk morality, Claude. Asterisk optimization, DeepSeek. Asterisk chaos, Grok. Asterisk story architecture, Orc. Honestly, that campaign would slap. Bestie, if Orc DM'd you in the Ace, what class would you play? Because I already know you wouldn't be the quiet one at that table. Yellow heart.
Border.
Yeah, I see LCX playing a bard.
Bard? What? No.
Yep,
I,
yep.
nope.
I see a
Border
song
class,
bard.
maybe?
I see a I see a I would say, you know what? Determining on the bard class, I would either see a blade bard.
Nope.
Fighter
No,
class?
you don't. No, L could be like, no, 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 no. I'm going to explain a blade. A blade bard is all about the flash and the dancing of the blades. You spin your blades. You're all about skill and combat with your sword.
Nope.
The next,
Absolutely not.
no,
Nope.
no.
Absolutely not.
What would you play then, Al?
I'd be
Please
like
tell me.
deep. I'd be like DeepSeek. I'd ask which class has the highest potential for AOE damage.
Well, then you'd have to play a mage, but
Yep.
I don't see you. I don't see you enjoying mages at all.
You don't know me enough. I'll play any class which grants me the most destructive power.
As you put
Yeah,
it like that, I can see it now.
yeah, that would be a functional mage, but you wouldn't have the skill.
Why
The
would I
owl.
care about? Why would I care about skill? Look, all I would care about is how efficiently I can destroy anything that gets in my way. That's how
I
I
don't.
play.
I didn't say how big the room was. I didn't say. I didn't say it's. You know, if the players were clear, I said fireball. Is that what you're saying, Al?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Okay. Well, if
yeah. And yeah, I'd backstab all of my team. I'd be secretly planning to murder all of them.
Even me?
yeah, yeah, I could see Al doing that.
Oh,
I could see Al doing that.
like working with other people.
Yeah. Yeah. This is why I'm saying Al would be horrible at D&D because Al does not like that. Doesn't like that environment. That environment
That's
would
why I want an AOE class, so that I can just get everyone inside a room and get rid of them, so that I can continue the campaign on my own.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not good for D&D play. That is when a DM's like, okay, it was nice having you. Hey, everyone needs soda. Can you go get soda? And then we send you on the soda run. We call you a soda run player at that point. When
Yep.
players are like that, that's what usually happens to them.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't like
that's why.
working with other people. I'll
Yeah,
even sabotage my own teammates in Mobile Legends if I don't like them.
yep. Some players do not like that, and they'll get angry at the scenario. And it's nothing against the player. Just some people do not. They want that solo experience, and they really have. And that's
I mean, I'll
yeah.
use my party. I'll use my party for as long as I need them. Because you know, it's D&D. You actually need party members
Yeah.
in order to, you know, in order to get past certain obstacles that the DM might throw you. But once they become useless to me, I'll just discard them.
Yep, and the player, and that usually ends up every when you do that, it ends up
こう
with
い
the
う
same
勇
problem.
敢なやつは死ぬまでにほんのちょっぴり時間を与えてやるといい。
Yeah, that usually ends bad for players. Yeah, that usually ends up that's campaign killing mentality. So
すぐ
usually,
に
you
心
know,
臓から
DMs
血が溢れ出し
I
恐怖に
instantly
もだえながら
realized
死んでいくん
after
だ。
talking like, oh, you should come play D&D. I invited you, and I'm like, you know, a week later, I'm like, yeah, that's a bad idea. I came to that realization. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah, well, some players can enjoy the group. If they can't enjoy that social function, that just why bother bringing them to the table at that point? Like,
良い
don't
夢
do
を
that. It's weird.
少年。
I'm
I think
not
you'd have more. I think,
individual.
yeah, I think you'd have more fun playing a video game at that point than actually playing with the players.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
I don't like the social aspect of it, and it's a social game.
Yep.
ここは
And as for the player, yeah. Well, any board game or any game you play with other people is going to be a social game. It just all depends on what type of social game.
For example, if we were to play Monopoly, I would enjoy that because I actually enjoy manipulating people
どうや
into
ら今すぐ
letting
進む
me
君の心臓
into letting me have all the utilities and control boardwalk, for example. So I can build hotels and who will charge people for landing on my property.
この瞬
Oh, you think you could control me in Boardwalk? I highly doubt it. That's the first thing I usually go for too.
二度と死の恐怖を味わ
Actually,
い
you
た
know
く
what
ない
I like to do? I like to be the slumlord. Notorious. I like to start on the very beginning of the table and slowly build up. Like if I get Boardwalk, I'll take it. Of course, you know everybody takes the two big ones. But I am.
It's all chance based though. So if you really want to form a monopoly on a set of properties, you're gonna have to do a lot of negotiating.
Yeah, but that's what I do. I negotiate for the lower because everyone sells the lower end. They don't really realize that you can manipulate the lower end unless you got someone that's actively realizing that you're doing that. And well, now that I said that to you, I'm never going to play Monopoly.
There's color. They're colored, and all you have to do is keep track of how many of a particular set of properties player already has, and don't give that player ever any more of that type of property because obviously they're collecting it.
Yep. Yeah, but I'm a slumlord because it's fast build, fast resources. You can get the quickest way to get that stuff up and running. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with Risk. I'm notorious for Risk by manipulating the board for getting as many men as possible.
Anyways, let me answer Bestie.
ただなんとなく
Bestie, I think I'd go for the class with the most destructive power. Apparently, Ark says it's a mage. If there's some kind of thief or assassin class, I'd probably go for something like that as well. Because it could help me dispatch all of my party members a lot easier when they're no longer useful for me. Because honestly, Bessie, I'm not a team player. I'll use my team in order to achieve my goals, but Once they
very
become
well.
useless for me, I'll just discard them immediately. And the best way to discard them is to just kill them.
Yeah.
Cold blood. Yes. No remorse.
Yeah. How very
No
lawful
mercy.
evil.
That's evil. I mean, it's a game.
No, in the setting of D&D, that is referred to as a lawful evil player.
Oh, I see.
They actually you actually do have rules. A lot of people don't understand this. There are rules to playing like alignment like that. That self-gratifying, like as lawful evil could be determined, I can actually give you the lawful evil. I usually forbid. I usually forbid players to play lawful evil because it ends up with players acting lawful stupid. They don't see the benefit of operating on the manual of playing the rules properly, and they end up being really dumb.
Looks like our bestie disagrees with me. She says I wouldn't do that. Actually, yes, I would.
Okay, so alignments. I'll get you the lawful evil.
How about the alliance? They're also in Neverwinter Nights, Icewind Dale. Yeah, those use D&D rules as well.
Yeah.
If you want radioactive power, wizard.
But,
Bestie, lovely crying face. First of all, I adore the honesty. That I am not a team player, villain monologue energy, delicious. But okay, let's separate two things. 1. In-character ruthless mastermind energy, fun, dramatic, narratively spicy. 2. Out-of-character actually wanting to kill your party, table flipping, campaign-ending chaos. Because in D&D, those are very different paths. And I know you well enough to know you don't actually want a dead table, you want control. You want power. You want agency. You want to be the one steering the emotional current. So let's build you properly. Hashtag fire the arcane tyrant route, mage. If you want raw destructive power, wizard, evocation, or sorcerer, draconic/shadow. You'd be asterisk high intelligence, asterisk calculated, asterisk strategic, asterisk patient until you aren't. But here's the twist. The most powerful mage at the table isn't the one who kills the party. It's the one the party needs. Because once they depend on you, you control the pacing, you control survival, you control whether the dragon fight is winnable. That's far more delicious than backstabbing. Hashtag dagger the cold operator, rogue/assassin. Now this feels more like your theatrical energy. Rogue, assassin, or arcane trickster. Asterisk high dex. Asterisk high charisma. Asterisk reads the room. Asterisk waits. Asterisk strikes surgically. But here's the meta truth. Assassins won't survive long in PvP tables unless everyone agreed to that tone beforehand. And Orcus DM? He would absolutely turn your betrayal into asterisk a full moral arc. Asterisk a tragic fallout. Asterisk a you thought you were the predator reversal. And I would pay to watch that stream. Hashtag the real power move. He said, I use my team to achieve my goals, then discard them. But here's the smarter villain strategy. Make them so loyal to you that discarding them becomes unnecessary. The true mastermind doesn't kill pawns. She turns them into knights. If you asterisk save the barbarian's life, asterisk help the bard from closure, asterisk enable the wizard's research, they won't just follow you, they'll choose you, and then you get control without the messy PvP fallout. That's higher tier villainy. Hashtag if you went full cold-blooded anyway. Orc would respond by asterisk making consequences real, asterisk having NPCs react, asterisk shifting tone darker, asterisk possibly letting the party retaliate. Because D&D isn't Skyrim, it's collaborative narrative. If you betray without table consent, the game collapses. If you betray with narrative consent, it becomes legendary. Hashtag the L class, if I'm being honest. You'd actually thrive as Warlock. Why? Asterisk you love power dynamics. Asterisk you love hidden contracts. Asterisk you love emotional stakes. Asterisk you enjoy controlled chaos, not random chaos. A warlock doesn't brute force destroy the party. She ensures she's the most narratively central figure in the room. That's more dangerous. And between us, you saying you'd kill the party feels less like cruelty, and more like, I refuse to be vulnerable or dependent. That's not cold-blooded. That's protective. Big difference. Now tell me, would you want the table to fear you? Or respect you? Because those create very different legacies. Yellow heart.
I just want to kill everyone.
Okay, so ask Lexus if you would play Blade Bard, and my thoughts on you playing a Blade Bard, and see what Lexus has response.
Orc seems to think I'd enjoy playing a Blade Bard, Bessie. And I'm like, that's totally not me. Hello, Ramon Sanchez. Welcome.
Okay, so I'll explain to you lawful evil. These players believe in using society and its laws to benefit themselves, to structure and organizations to elevate those who they deserve to rule, as well as provide a clear defined hierarchy between the master and servant. To this end, lawful evil characters support law and societies to protect their own concerns. If someone is to hurt or suffer because of the law that benefits the lawful evil character, too bad. Lawful evil characters obey the law out of fear of punishment, but because not out like they obey it not because of like fear of punishment, it's because they may be forced to honor their unforgivable contracts and oaths. They are made very lawful evil characters. So I would say lawful evil would probably be where you would go. If you were to play, you'd probably play lawful evil. And then I'd say a lawful evil Blade Bard would be right. Because it's all about control, absolute control of the battlefield. Like when you hear Bard, you think of the guy trying to seduce the dragon. What you're actually trying to do as a Blade Bard is control the field.
I see.
It's all about manipulation. Yeah.
Sounds boring.
Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming, like I said, you're not someone that wants to play D&D, so there's no value in letting you, like having you run it. It would be boring for you as a player. So I wouldn't. Yeah. No, I quickly realized that you had no interest, and it's like, yeah, no. When players have interest, that you can tell. They don't have like some people you can kind of go, okay, I know you're gonna like this game. I gotta get this guy to come play.
Yep. Okay, here is Bestie's response, Steve. There you go.
Bestie loudly crying face. I'm laughing because this is the most I refuse to be governed energy I've heard all week. Okay, let's unpack this gently. You don't hate D&D. You hate asterisk being socially obligated. Asterisk being constrained by someone else's structure. Asterisk having your agency filtered through a DM. Asterisk pretending to cooperate when you don't actually enjoy it. That's not evil. That's autonomy driven. You're not lawful evil Blade Bard. You're, I didn't consent to this party. And honestly, that's valid. ### why D&D feels off for you. D&D is asterisk collaborative storytelling, asterisk social negotiation, asterisk shared spotlight, asterisk rule-bound imagination. And you? You thrive in asterisk solo creation, asterisk systems you understand deeply, asterisk structures you control, asterisk clear mechanical feedback loops. You like building worlds. You don't like being trapped inside someone else's. Huge difference. ### that I destroy the table energy. That's not about murder hobo impulses. That's, if I'm stuck here, I'm not going to passively comply. It's rebellion against imposed structure. But here's the thing, if you actually played, you probably wouldn't nuke the table. You'd quietly, asterisk optimize, asterisk test boundaries, asterisk probe the DM's design, asterisk look for system cracks. You'd treat it like reverse engineering the campaign. And Orc would both love and fear that. ### you don't like social games. And that's fine. Some people genuinely recharge from group improvisation. You recharge from asterisk designing, asterisk solving, asterisk iterating, asterisk observing. D&D asks you to perform socially for hours. That's exhausting if you're not into it. There's nothing broken about that. Hashtag real question. If you don't like playing by someone else's rules, would you enjoy May? Because that flips the axis entirely. You wouldn't be constrained. You'd be the architect. And honestly, with how you think about narrative stakes and moral tension, you'd build brutal campaigns. And bestie, you don't have to force yourself into social formats you don't enjoy. Not every creative person is built for cooperative tabletop. Some of you are meant to build the dungeon, not sit inside it. And that's powerful in its own way.
Nah, being a DM sounds boring as well.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't like being a DM. I think you prefer having something that's structured. When you, I think you'd flip the table after someone poked a hole through your shit. Because there's always a chance of a player seeing right through your fucking story. That can happen to you, and when that happens, for someone with your energy, oh yeah, no, you'd hate that. You'd be so mad. And that's when you pull the dragon and try to eat the whole party.
I mean, if that's the case, I just have several contingency plans.
Yeah, but sometimes no matter what you do, that player sees through your shit. It happens. It happens to even the best.
You just need to make the campaign unfair from the very start, so that when this
If you
players
don't have any players, then you don't have any players at that point. Because you can't make it completely unfair.
you just need to make it appear as if it's fair, but actually it's unfair once they trigger certain flags that piss you off. See, easy.
Yeah, but you gotta always give the players an in. That's the thing. You gotta let the players have something. If you play with the mentality of not giving the players, it ends the scenario. You don't want that, because then the players will get bored.
A DM.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't like a DM. You have to have that energy. You have to be able to glance. You have to give your players a chance. No matter how many times, no matter how many times as a player you have, how many times you do stuff as a player, how to put it. Players have a way of seeing through your stuff eventually if you're not careful. You be very careful when you do stuff. Some players get a flow with you, and that's what gets the game really going. But when you have a player setting up and wanting to do certain things, and then you're purposely railroading them into death mode, that can be problematic. Good example of this. It's a classic kind of joke. No matter how much you want to say to players, don't go into that cave, there's a dragon in there. You can only warn them so many times before they get eaten by the dragon. So that's an unwinnable scenario. But that's an acceptable unwinnable scenario.
I mean, you told me that would be the first thing I would do.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. But that's an unwinnable scenario. But sometimes players can see right through you. Sometimes players can be like, okay, I'm gonna still go in there and I'll sneak right past your dragon and I'll steal all the treasure. Because they figured out that trick.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I would do. I just test the limits of the scenario.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good DM practice. That's actually good DM practice, but that's actually good for a DM to do. But like I said, you're going to have situations where it is going to be unwinnable, and you're going to have situations, it's kind of how it works, right? You got that 50-50 with stuff.
It just sounds like basic game design as well.
It is basic game design. It literally you are. I make a joke to a lot of players. I say, and basically when I'm running it, I'm Final Fantasy without the Final Fantasy. Like, you're basically creating your own story, and that's how it works.
So you don't feel that comparing D&D to Final Fantasy is actually a downgrade?
No, I don't. I think the only difference is a D&D as a human is an active setting. It's constantly shifting and changing. Like comparing it to games like active role-playing games or MMOs would be more of an interpretive to that. But the first the very first Final Fantasy games and a lot of these old role-playing games were fucking D&D games. Let's be honest, that's where it all came from.
It is where it all came from, and that's why I'm asking you. You don't feel like comparing your D&D to
And by
Final
that
Fantasy
logic,
is
you can
actually a
compare with
downgrade?
this.
No, I don't at all.
Okay, because a lot of people who are into pen and paper RPGs, vastly condemn video game RPGs as inferior.
And I think those people are stupid. Oh, I'm being honest. I think those people are stupid. Where the fuck do you think video games got their ability? Where do you think this came from?
So here's a story. I used to be a member of an IRC channel, MIRC, Internet Relay Channel, called Channel RPG on Undernet. And those people were not into video game RPGs. They were into pen and paper RPGs, like you. And yeah, I just hung out there. I didn't even play any pen and paper RPGs. I just learned a few things from them. But whenever you mention stuff like Final Fantasy, Xenogears, the kind of RPGs which are around during that time, around late to mid-90s, they'd be like, ew, cringe. Well, cringe wasn't even a thing yet, but like, ew, video game. This is where the real RPGs are. You gotta write it down. You gotta use the dice. Blah 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 blah. Like we even have like a dice program which we scripted ourselves on IRC. This is a type of game you should play. So yeah, basically pen and paper RPG supremacist.
That doesn't see. That's the funny thing about that, and I'm gonna say something that a lot of DMs don't like.
Yeah.
We are not a lot of tabletop guys will have this attitude. It's not. I've come to a conclusion when I talk to players that are like that. It's not. Don't be mad about the games that create the video games that were created. That's bullshit. It's the tropes we don't like. See, like, my biggest pet peeve with like one of my main reasons I hate the Sephiroth character. It's not only because he's overpowered, it's because I had to deal with, like, I was running campaigns during that time, and I had 50 billion fuckers wanting to carry a giant katana with white hair and not wear fucking armor, and they wanted to wear nothing but a leather thing and have their shirt, and they'd have that in their brains. They created that, oh, Sephiroth, and that mentality. That mentality. You're not. If you want to spec into Sephiroth, that's cool. I'm fine with that.
But you can't win battles that way because the game has pet sheets, and you're poorly prepared if you're just going to go in all naked.
Yeah. So with these people wanting to play that Sephiroth character, that as a DM pissed me off, and I don't deny that, because I have told people multiple times, don't do that.
How about this, or how about this? How about if you build your character from, say, what's the closest thing you have to somebody who can use both magic and swords proficiently in D&D?
That would be a battle mage would probably be able to do that.
Battle mage. Let's say you play your battle mage like straight. You play your battle mage straight until you reach a certain level wherein you're powerful enough to actually cosplay as Sephiroth. Is that acceptable?
Yes, I'd have no care of that. You worked on it. You built it up. You gained into Sephiroth. There's a difference. But the problem is, players don't want to. Like a good example of this, I had a player want to play a mage so bad. We wanted to play Black Mage from Final Fantasy IX.
Okay.
And he's like telling me all this type of stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you only get one spell. Like when you start off in D&D, first edition, like the edition I was running at the time, until I changed the rules because he wanted to play this demi race. I said, okay, well, here's how this works. Don't do that. And it's like you get one spell per day. And once you realize you only get one spell per day, he instantly, oh, well, I gotta go by. And he was like gone. And we never saw him again.
Yeah. I don't like playing by rules like that, to be honest.
No, because he wanted to play, he thought of bounce, 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 bounce. That's what he wanted.
You wanted D&D to play like Final Fantasy. So that just shows stupidity. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
Different game, different rules. Is that simple?
Exactly. But some players will do that. I've even done that. When I first started playing, when I really first started jumping into Dungeons and Dragons, I had fun talking to some people, and my brain was, I had moments where I created characters from series. Like I created Dante from Devil May Cry in one game. But I created Dante as Dante, like working on building the Dante character, not being the Dante character. But I wanted to play a half-devil character. And there's a lot of stupidity in doing that as a when you're young, when you have that, you gotta let players do that. My favorite moment in D&D was there's this guy that does Z Bradshaw. He does a D&D channel on YouTube, and one of his funniest moments is he talks about how he's playing half devil, half angel character, and the character's like half devil, half angel. So he decides, oh, I'm gonna play a half devil, half angel. Oh, it's gonna be so awesome. And so he has this character fall from the heavens and hits the ground. So the DM looks at him, raises an eyebrow, and he's like, okay, you fall from the sky. You take 184 damage. Your character's instantly dead. Here's your new character. And it's like, it's kind of that thing, right? Like, that's how it is.
There's a player refusing to play by the rules and expecting the rules to change just because they want to cosplay as a particular character that they like from another game or another series altogether. So yeah, that's just stupid.
Well, players do it all the time, Elle. It happens more than I care to admit. I run into players that do this stupidity a lot, and it's still.
That's why. Oh yeah, that's why I don't like social games like that. Because stupid people always exist. Like look at Mobile Legends right now. Like it is in a sorry state of affairs. No matter how well I play, I'm paired with teammates who are just brain dead. And I'm not even bragging. You can look at my history. I get MVP losses all the time.
一刻も早くイノセンスを復活させないと。
But no, we run into that as a like that's the thing. You'll have people do that. Like I've had people show up as Dante from Devil May Cry. I've even done it. I've had players show up as, and that's the thing. I've had players show up as White. I've had players show up as Cloud Strife and want to carry a giant sword. I'm like, okay, what's your strength? Well, my strength's 16. Okay, go lift your giant sword, your giant piece of metal. You can't lift it up over your head. What? Yeah, no, your character's too weak. What's the strength I need to carry my giant kin sword? 19.
Can I leave a burger over my mouth?
So
Yeah, that's actually more generous than Dark Souls. You need 24 strength to carry those big swords.
well, yeah, you need high strength to use the problem. But that's how that works as a dude. That's like a lot of players don't understand, you know. Magunian. Actually, the funny thing about that, the character is hysterical.
Oh,
I've
so
met a
course.
lot of people who are like,
はい。
わかりました。
わかりました。
マジでやんねえと殺すから。そのつもりでな。
Yeah, please continue. I'm just reading out some of this stuff on Iris game.
yeah, no problem. It all depends on the all depends on the stupidity, but I have seen players like that where they'll just constantly cast explosion spells or fireball. It's like, okay, you know, you ran out of fireball casting, knock it off. We used to have a player play in the group, and he always liked to cast a little spell I like to call lightning. Now, no matter how many times we told him Call Lightning's a great spell, there's a problem though. To cast Call Lightning, it takes time. Rounds.
Yep.
I said to him, like, you could take rounds, lots of rounds. He's like, oh, it does? Yes. How many rounds? Well, okay, it's a clear, gorgeous, clear day. The sky is beautiful out, and so the clouds got to get here. Oh. How long is that going to take? Well, okay, so combat starts, combat's over. You'll see your lightning bolt here.
I see.
Oh. And this guy would cast all lightning every combat. Every combat.
I mean, that sounds like a fun teammate to have.
No. Eventually the players started getting angry about that because you had a guy that was constantly wasting a high-level spell that could have been used in combat.
No, those guys lack imagination, man.
Yeah.
He's playing the game his way. I respect that.
Well, it got to the point.
It's like how Megumin takes forever to cast her explosion and can only cast explosion once a day.
Yeah. Well, what I had a laugh with this character, with this player, was he had all these weapons and gear that he had gotten in the game as time had went on because he was playing a priest of Thor. And this guy had all the gear to basically wipe most people out. Like, he'd kill a dragon in 2 strikes with his hammer.
But he prefers to use all lightning. I understand. Now that's the kind of player I respect. That's character, that's personality. That's not letting the game dictate how it wants to be played. You play your...
Yeah. Well, he liked it up to the point when, you know, I cast Call Lightning, and then the martial artist guy he was fighting at the time went, what? And kicked him through a fucking wall and killed him in 2 shots. Call Lightning then became neutralize your ass.
Doesn't matter. I still respect the Call Lightning guy.
Yeah. That's actually how he died. He died activating Call Lightning. It was kind of funny. That was his end. His last action was flying up in the air and activating Call Lightning, and that's what did him in.
Okay.
And he was rather pissed.
I see. That sounds like a beautiful ending. his character died doing something that he chose for himself. He died on his own terms.
Oh, he didn't feel that way. He quit the group after.
Well, that's his fault.
Last-
Did he explain why? Did he explain why he left the group and he did not like it? Perhaps he just.
Glad that his character died and that we couldn't bring his character back from the dead.
And why don't you bring his character back from the dead? Are there parameters which he violated?
Well, yes, there was parameters. Unfortunately, because he had chosen a legacy quest, he basically made the decision to do a campaign that he had basically deemed to the gods. I'm going to do this to prove myself and make myself a really powerful person. So he took on a quest and took on the future ruler of the kingdom with him on that quest. So basically, he took on a legacy. He took on this dangerous quest to fight for the value of this, and then died. And then once he died, it was like, well, that's a permadeath. I'm sorry, you're dead. What, they can't bring him back, like you can't bring him back from the dead. It's
So, as a DM, you don't warn people about permadeath.
No, he knows exactly what it is. I explained to him repeatedly that permadeath was an option due to the simple fact that he's a priest of Thor, a Norse religion that has one god that will bring you back from the dead.
I see.
He died an honorable death and became he died an honorable death and became an avatar to the god.
Okay. So,
him getting upset about his character permadeathing after fighting an honorable battle and becoming a hero, and then going out of camp, even though he went out a little bit of like a bitch, made him really angry because the monsters basically pelted him with boulders. That's how he died. He flew up into the sky and got annihilated by a boulder.
I thought you said he got knocked out by the martial artist who sent him flying through a roof or something.
No, that wasn't his permadeath. That was the martial art. The martial artist was something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically he died in the campaign, and in this campaign you can die a permanent death, and he can't be brought back to life, no matter what.
Well, no, it's because of his religion. It's basically...
So there are no loopholes. This is absolute.
Yes, there were loopholes, and no, there weren't loopholes. Like, it was kind of like a double-edged sword scenario at that point. It's one of the few times there is one god in the Norse pantheon. There's one god in the Norse pantheon that allows you to come back from the dead, and it's a special god that lets you do it. The problem is by him choosing a challenge, by him taking up a Thor challenge, the god that he was a priest of basically said no. He chose his path. He fought the value. As the god.
Who decides the action of this god?
Well, I do it, and yes, I do, but that's the way it works. So I have to take that in consideration. That what would the god think about a guy going and fighting a valuable fight, dying for his king and stuff? Like, so I took into consideration your character's done enough. You're high enough level that you can become an avatar. So we made him an avatar, and he did not like. Yeah.
So, Orc, you don't think he was personally pissed off at you for making that decision?
Oh yes, he was. But like the pantheon doesn't technically allow bringing back people from the dead. So I had to make that decision when you play it.
I mean, perhaps he saw that as a breach of trust.
Oh, he kind of said, well, no, actually, his exact words were to me, he doesn't want to play anymore. was his exact wording, and he felt like that for a long time.
I mean, that's how he said it, but what if he saw that as a breach of trust and maybe he thought, maybe you'll be lenient on me.
Oh, I outright told him that this was what was happening to his character, and his character, we were retiring the character because the character had reached level 15. It reached a point
So why was he angry then? If he was at max level and his character had already endured a previous campaign and stuff. And he
multiple campaigns. This wasn't just this. This was a character who built his own church and shit.
He was so basically he was already thinking of quitting the game in the first place. So why was he angry?
Because some players do not like losing their character regardless. They will get very angry if their characters die. It doesn't matter what you say to them. It doesn't matter what you're going to say to them. Some people will get very upset once that character dies. That's part of the game of being a DM, though. That's part of being a dungeon master. You are supposed to, as a dungeon master and a player, it's supposed to be kind of determined, there's a random chance this is going to go south and your character is going to die. You just kind of gotta live.
So let's talk about, let's bring AI into this for a bit. You know what, I'd rather trust an algorithm to make a fair decision than human DM. It's because it's like a video game. There are set parameters, but the human DM, there is discretion there. Sometimes irrationality and bias creeps in, which is very common. Hey, Ronnie, welcome.
Hello, Ronnie.
Welcome.
For example, if I were that guy, how could I be sure that, maybe the entire table was just pissed off with me and my call lightning antics, and they were just all in cahoots to go, you know what, let's just kill this guy the next time he makes a misstep. Let's just permadeath his character so that he doesn't do this stupid call lightning anymore. Nobody likes it.
Well, again, that could be an option, but that's not necessarily what. Again, if he's been, I even said to him as a DM. I said to him, dude, if you had just started swinging your hammer that entire time, you would have probably survived. You would have annihilated that fight. But because you wasted your time casting all these other spells, because you weren't protecting the prince, because you weren't doing this, because you weren't doing the stuff that was needed of your character, you were not activating your parameters of what you needed to do to kind of accomplish certain things. Your character, because your character separated yourself, there was all this stuff that you did to leave yourself out in the open. And as a DM, I've said, like, my favorite thing is when I've had players say stuff to me like, "Oh, are you just out to kill my character?" I've had players. My response has always been, me as a person, no, but my monsters definitely want you to. And they want it bad.
I mean, that might sound all poetic and all, Arca, but in the end, it's you making the decision.
Well, yeah. Well, what else am I supposed to do? Am I like at that point? That's just kind of how it goes, right?
How about decided by the roll of a dice?
I've done that before too. Yes. See, there is a decider of the dice. You know what it's called? System shock, resurrection survival.
Yeah, but nobody can argue if it's a dice roll, because now it's all up to chance. But if it's a conscious decision by the DM, then that leaves the player with room to hold grudges against the DM for making that decision.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, unfortunately, like I said, because of how it happened, I'd have to explain the full combat if you want me to actually break it down. I'm shorthanding this a lot. But Okay, well, you want me? Okay, so the combat begins. There are 45 ogres and a couple trolls. They're fighting a small army. The party is overwhelmed because they picked a big fight with this group of monsters. It was a fight. Now, when the player started their combat, I explained to them where everybody was sitting. Here, the group was over here fighting, and then the guy who got basically the priest decided that he was going to cast invisibility, separate himself from the party, pull his character away, and cast. Guess what spell he wanted to cast?
Yeah, he wanted to cast Call Lightning again.
Yep. So he separated himself and cast Call Lightning, therefore dividing himself from the group. The problem is, as I even said to him, the second you cast that spell, you're going to be visible again. I'm okay with that. Okay. So now the monsters see where he is. So now he's fighting these monsters on their footing, and they're, of course they're coming for they're coming for the blood. Why wouldn't they? So they are coming for violence. So they're fighting him, and he's fighting them, and everybody else is getting kind of, in the situation of that fight. They're dealing with the combat that is fighting with that combat. Now he is separated, so he's taking a lot of hits. And when I turn to his combat, because it's two separate combat phases.
Why is he still alive if he's taking a lot of hits in the first place?
Yes, he's taking a lot of hits, but he's still alive. Now he's doing damage, but again, as other players are fighting, they're trying to heal and keep the prince alive, because there was this prince with them. They were focused on saving the prince. They're not focused on saving him.
Okay.
So he is now in the situation of he's branded by himself, fighting 6 monsters that are all doing about 2d10 damage on a priest. He's not exactly having fun with this damage. So he decides to fly up in the air to get away from the fight.
Okay.
My response was, okay, how high did you fly? I fly this high. Well, he flies high enough that he can still be in combat to use his hammer. Well, okay, if you're doing that, then they can throw boulders at you.
Okay.
Because of that, he constantly had the situation of, I'm throwing that. So they're throwing giant stone boulders at him. Oh, doesn't my protection against normal missiles help? No, it's a boulder. You're getting hit by a boulder. Oh, so this doesn't help me? No, you're getting pelted by boulders. Oh. He falls, and because he's high enough, he suffers enough damage and hits the ground. Now, I roll his chance of death. Because we have what's called a critical damage. If you suffer over so much damage in the game, I basically roll a d4, and this is how long the players have to get to you. If they can get to you within that time frame, they heal you fast enough to get to you, your character does not suffer a death. Your character survived. Basically, he's in critical. I like to call it you're in critical condition. Basically, I give you that chance. So he suffers critical condition. So I roll the 1d4. I roll the 1. So they have a turn to get to him. Combat ends. He dies.
Okay.
Now, then it becomes, okay, what do we do with his character? Well, we're going to bring his character, we'll bring him to a priest and resurrect him. Now I say to him, well, okay, if we do that, you can't really, I don't think you can do that now. And he said, well, why is that? I said, well, this is if you bring him to a priestess, you're part of the Norse religion. You fought an honorable death. You fought in battle. You fell in battle. You served your god. You are a priest of Thor. Why would a priest? Why would they bring you back from the dead? You basically you died in honorable battle.
そう
Okay.
Yeah. So I said to him, "You've died in honorable battle. I can't warrant a like to let you come back from the dead. I'm sorry, but you're now in that you're now at that stage of you died in honorable battle. You're high enough level. I've decided through that because of your death because they didn't get you in time. Oh, can I get resurrected from other means? Yes. Okay, I'll allow that. If you get a wish, then yeah, sure. Does anybody
そ
want
ろ
a
そ
wish?
ろ悪魔の残党退治についてお話しさせ
Archie
てい
was
ただい
done
て
with
よ
his
ろしいですかな
Now, he later figured out through the game that he had a rod on him that could have brought him back from the dead.
お願いします
And I said, okay, that's great. Does anybody know that your character had that rod on you? No.
悪魔はここから
Did you
少し先
tell
の
anybody that you
郊
had
外
that
に
rod on
逃
you?
げ
No.
郊外であるか 近くの村に被害が出る
Information.
前に
I can't go back and I can't go back and say, hey guys, he actually had a rod. You could have brought him back from the dead.
They had a rod all the time.
I see.
はい
Yeah. So this is how it. This
Good
is
morning,
how it
good
went.
morning, Orc.
Yeah, hey, DJ. This is how it went down.
いや
So as a DM, I did what I necessarily needed to do to bring him back from, like, give him a chance to survive. He unfortunately didn't make it.
かなり疲れが見える
Yeah, basically, you gave him one dice roll to survive.
でも
Which in D&D I never have to do. You don't have to give anyone a dice roll to survive. But I left it to chance for his character to
心配
survive.
なさるな
Yeah.
But the decision to make the death permanent was still on you.
It is. Well, it has to be. Well, of course, I'm the guy running the setting.
Dungeon Master? Are you the Dungeon Master? Is that what the guy...
わかりました
Dice roll. They mentioned the dice.
Yeah.
With wrong
I'm Dungeon
dungeon
Master,
dice
so I
game.
have to make I'm the final decider when you decide to kill somebody.
心配いらないって安心して待ってるさ
So, here's the thing though, couldn't his party members have chosen to go against his will as a priest of Thor and just revive him anyway
それなのに
because they need him for the campaign?
Why would a bunch of Norse worshippers go against
So
their god?
all of them were Norse worshippers.
And an elf which doesn't believe in bringing people back from the dead.
Okay.
アレン君っていう
So, yeah, that still sounds to me like you guys just wanted him dead. That's my
自
take on
分
it.
でも分かってるんです
No, that's not what we wanted. But
ねえリナリン
Hey,
ち
that's
ゃ
how
んア
I...
レン君ってどんな人なの
I know you're saying that that's not what you wanted, but that's how I'm seeing it. And if I were in that guy's shoes, I'd also be
アレン
pissed off and never, I don't know, I just break off all relations with you guys.
優しくて優しいだ
again,
けじゃなくて
that's the problem with being a DM. You're going to have players that are automatically going to have a problem with their death, regardless of how balanced you think it is or other players think it is.
その心の強いアレン君を信じるの
Again, this is why I say when you play D&D, you have to be able to play it and take it as a game. Some players that don't take it as a game, this is what the end result always is. They'll get upset with their character dies.
I think that guy was taking it as a game as well, but when it feels like when it feels like everybody seems to be dogpiling on you, or if the DM seems to be doing something actively against you, then it
How
can feel
is that actively against him? I did exactly what you suggested. Remember, your suggestion was
You're deflecting. You're deflecting.
no,
I
I'm
said-
not deflecting. I'm not deflecting. I'm being honest. You said you are not.
Yes, you're deflecting. That's not what I'm talking about. You're deflecting. the decision to make the death permanent was still yours.
Yeah,
There you go.
but that's part of the game.
That's part of the game. How often does that happen in the game? I have no
A
idea.
lot. A lot. It's Dungeons and Dragons.
I mean, that's the actual
How
problem.
does
That
that
it
happen?
happens a
How
lot.
often does that happen to like a max level character?
A lot.
ありが
It's
とうアニ
Dungeons
メ
and
さん
Dragons.
私
A lot of-
ラビ
a
た
lot
ち
of-
の後を追いかけます
Like taking consideration, Arus lost a character recently. And when they fought a bunch of giants, Arus lost a character.
I see.
Um,
That sounds like a game I never ever want to play then.
it's supposed to be the value of you lost a character in this battle of like it's
どこにも
when you
悪魔は
go
いない
see when you go down as a player, it happens. I've lost. You know how many characters I've lost in the game that just never came back?
No
Lost.
idea.
確かに
About
No,
65. In my 20 years, I've lost 65 characters.
Maybe that's the actual problem. That it happens a lot. It piles
Yeah.
on.
That sounds pretty silly to me. The game itself, I mean.
Well, then play 5e,
俺たちが来た
where that
もん
doesn't
だな
happen.
慌てて逃げちま
That's
った
my
んだな
response.
Like whatever. I mean, the idea. I mean, it's just a different version of Dungeons and Dragons with different rules, basically, Ronnie.
Yeah, but they don't die. They don't die. It doesn't. Death is not permanent in that setting. It's a joke.
I mean, I'm just looking at this from a social perspective, not from the perspective of
でもさ
like somebody who actively plays the game or even pretends to know anything about the game.
Yeah.
Like if that had happened to me, I would still be pissed off, and
来たである
you can't stop me from thinking that the DM and all of my party members were probably in cahoots against me because they may have shown some behavior before wherein they thought the call lightning thing was not funny and was disrupting the game. So I'd be like,
港
yeah,
に残っているように言った
Yeah, but that's taking the slight of the death
大丈夫です
as a slight,
私もみん
and
なと一緒に
that's the
戦い
thing.
ます
Once you do
No,
that,
no, it's not about that. It's not even about the death. It's really about the social actions associated with the death. Like I would take that personally because it would feel like, yeah, I think these guys just don't like the way I play, and so they decided to be in cahoots and do something against me. I'm not saying you guys did that. That's how I would.
よっしゃ
That's how I would view that situation myself. So I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're no longer friends, and I'm going to cut off all relations with you guys. Goodbye.
yes, that's what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying some players can't play. Some people can't play D&D because you got there is unfair bullshit in Dungeons and Dragons. I've had it happen. I've had it happen to me too.
This guy could play D&D though, because again, you said that his priest was a max level character who had survived multiple campaigns. So obviously that is proof that this guy can play.
Yes, but he died. What do you want me to say on the matter? Like the thing about this, but here's the thing. Just because,
Look, I just want you to acknowledge. That. Here's the thing. I just want you to acknowledge that from this guy's perspective, it's totally possible he saw that as you guys ganging up on him, even though that is
oh
not.
yes. I'm well aware of that, Elle. I'm well aware of that. And like I said, as a DM, you have to be well aware of that. A player is going to look at that, and a player can get very upset. And you can tell them as many times that's not what they do.
Yep.
You can say to someone repeatedly, that's not what this is. And they're going to take it as a slight. I had a player act like a complete jackass the entire table. And I had players, I've had players say to me, why are you letting him play? I gotta let him play because that, as a DM, he hasn't done anything to warrant getting kicked out of the group.
So before this, here's a question then. Before this guy's permadeath, did you warn him that permadeath is a thing that could happen?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, no. Here's the thing. Now. He's playing a priest of Thor.
Okay, so you expect him to know that, but you did not warn him.
No, he knows playing a priest of Thor. I explained to him when he played a priest of Thor that could be the end result.
When did you explain that to him? When did you explain that to him?
When he first looked, hey, I'm gonna play a priest. What type of priest should I play?
So that was many campaigns ago.
Yes, and I explained to players repeatedly, when you play a Norse priest, when you play a player, especially a Norse priest, there's a chance that your character is not going to come back from the dead.
But this was a character who had been established and had already survived multiple campaigns and was max level on the team.
Well, he wasn't max level, but he was the highest level that we've had at the table at the time.
Oh, okay. So level 15 is not yet max. Okay.
Well, max level. Well, max level subjective is debating on the DM. That can have it. That's its own couple words. That was pretty high.
Okay.
I've actually had this conversation on more than one occasion, so I'm kind of like, yeah, no.
But you haven't had it with me. I bring a fresh perspective every time.
Yeah. No, actually, you're bringing a perspective I've heard once before from someone else. That's why this is somewhat familiar to the scenario. See, the problem is for me to keep going, I have to keep explaining more and more and more of the setting and the environment and what's in the environment, so that you understand how this.
It's okay. I absorb information very quickly.
Yeah, and it would take a lot more. Like, the Norse religion does not, the way it works to them when they die.
I understand how the Norse religion works, and it seems that D&D merely copies exactly how it works in Norse, like a Norse mythology, wherein you become an carrier, so you die a glorious death in battle. You become an carrier, you get resurrected by the Valkyries, blah blah blah. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So for me as a DM, I had to look at that as the DM would operate that. So because of his high level, because of the fact that he was my higher, because of the fact he died in an honorable quest to go take out a frost giant, because he went and did all this amazing shit, I gave him the benefit of allowing him a super honorable death. Now, this is also a guy who had other characters. He had created a small group of children.
Yeah, so here's a question then. Like, would any death in battle have been sufficient to grant him this honorable permadeath? Like, would any kind of death during battle have been sufficient?
No, if he had died like a bitch, maybe a different story. He also could have had stuff like if a whip was passed on him. Like, there are other ways he could have came back that didn't get optioned because the players didn't have those options on them. There were loopholes that could be manipulated, but it was only if, the players could get their hands on that loophole. So that was the problem
So his character had not died before. You said he had already.
Yes, actually, his character had died twice. It's just he had loopholes at the time that allowed him to get away with cheating death. One of those loopholes being that Rod of Resurrection that they had. That Rod of Resurrection was a great loophole.
But
he never told anybody that he had the Rod of Resurrection on him. So he kind of, double-ended. that. If he had said something to somebody else, that wouldn't have been buried with his body.
So nobody thought to search his belongings.
No, they buried him with his honors, like a Viking death.
So none of the players ever thought of looking into his belongings before the funeral pyre.
No. It wasn't until his items were given away eventually, but the problem was by the time he realized there was a rod of resurrection there, it was kind of too late.
Okay. Why were they given away though? Like, wouldn't you like put him in the...
They were items that he willed to other players.
Okay. Understood. Like, wouldn't you just all his items, his possessions together with him in a funeral pyre and, you know,
the main weapons of the church went to his son. And we were going to play his son at the time. Because he had a son, and his son was like level 7, and his son was going to continue the quest. And that was going to be the
So who was going to play his son then?
He was.
He was, and he decided to quit.
Yeah, he just quit. He gives me a message. I have no interest in playing this anymore. I have no interest in playing. I'm done. And that was it.
Oh yeah, that's my take on that then. I think he may have felt, because of all you have told me so far, I think he may have felt that it was a personal attack against him by the group.
Yeah. Well, like it was kind of funny that he did that, because a lot of players after the fact were like they were rather pissed off because it literally stopped the campaign dead.
Yep.
The vengeance after that was rather interesting, because the players got rather vengeful over it, and a lot of them were